Welcome to today's Explainer. So, today we're going to put on our strategic advisor hats and break down a pretty massive paradox. Why do high-performing founders and entrepreneurs in general so frequently sabotage their own success? We're taking a really sharp, no-nonsense look at what I call the shrinkage tax. Basically, this is the silent wealth killer, where incredibly talented people actually turn down massive opportunities or kind of minimize their own results simply because they secretly feel like they don't belong in the room. We're going to unpack the architecture of worthiness and look at the exact structural foundations you absolutely need to step into your full potential. And here's a massive paradox to really kick things off. Studies suggest that over 70% of high achievers secretly feel like they're faking it. But listen, feeling unworthy absolutely does not mean you are unworthy, right? So many highly capable people operate under this illusion that if they feel a sense of imposter syndrome, well, it must be an objective fact. It's not. It's literally just a feeling. It's absolutely crucial to separate your internal emotional weather from the objective reality of your capability. Most people reject opportunities not because they lack the ability, but because they just haven't updated their internal software to accept their actual worth. Which brings us right to a core foundational principle. You are allowed to receive what your effort, honesty, and growth have prepared you for. Before we dive any deeper into the analysis, we really have to completely reframe that internal narrative of yours. You literally cannot build a high-revenue empire on a need-to-prove-it foundation. It just doesn't work. If you've put in the effort, if you've grown, if you've operated with honesty, then the results that arrive at your doorstep, they're yours to keep. You are fundamentally allowed to receive them.
Section 1. The cost of shrinking.
So the source material shares this genuinely fascinating microstory about what happens when big opportunities arrive. Every opportunity triggers a quiet hesitation. I mean, we've all been there, right? And it's always this incredible aha moment when you realize you're doing it. An opening presents itself, maybe it's a massive client, a huge media feature, a sudden surge in revenue, and instead of stepping forward, our immediate instinct is to question whether we actually deserve it. We really need to look at this not as a lack of confidence, but honestly as a technical failure to accept alignment. Your business grew, the opportunity matched that growth, but your identity? It lagged behind, and that's what creates that quiet, super costly hesitation.
And when that hesitation hits, founders begin actively looking for reasons to step back and shrink. You know what I mean? You start searching for reasons to believe someone else is more qualified. You look for literally any excuse to minimize yourself. You are actively scanning your environment for a way out of the discomfort of success. Basically, you're negotiating against your own growth, trying to find a totally valid excuse to just pass the opportunity to someone else. So after turning down yet another opportunity, what we're calling the refused opening, the diagnosis here becomes crystal clear. The problem is not capability, it is worthiness. You are perfectly 100% capable of executing the task. Actually, scratch that, you'd probably crush it. The failure is simply an inability to accept that you belong in the room. You've got the skills, for sure, but you lack the internal permission slip.
Section 2. The Worthiness Illusion.
See, there is this deeply flawed idea out there that worthiness is transactional, that it's some sort of prize that must be earned, constantly proven, and externally measured by your achievements. But the reality is that worthiness is internal. It is not transactional. It's something that must be accepted, recognized, and integrated as a quiet identity shift. Think about it. If you wait until you've proven enough to feel worthy, you're going to be waiting forever. Because that goalpost, it will continually move.
Section 3. Recognition over reward. So what exactly is worthiness then? Well, it's the inner recognition that you belong in the rooms you step into and are prepared for what is next. Notice that word there, recognition. It is not an award given to you by a committee. It's simply you internally recognizing and accepting that you are fully aligned with your own growth. You are fully worthy of the revenue your business model is actually designed to generate. Accepting this is what we call the Worthiness Acceptance Protocol. It is literally the primary architectural brick of an expanded entrepreneurial identity.
I really want you to think about this quote. Worthiness is not a finish line you earn after proving enough. It is an identity you allow yourself to step into. Just think about how liberating that is for a second. Stepping into success isn't about crossing some exhausting finish line where everyone finally claps for you. It's about giving yourself permission to put on a new coat. It's allowing an identity shift to happen right now, exactly where you stand. All of this naturally leads us to ask a pretty tough question. Why do we negotiate against our own growth? Why in the world do we fight off good news like it's a threat? Well, we do it to avoid the discomfort of accepting something good.
Let that sink in. It's kind of funny, isn't it? As humans, we will actively choose a familiar struggle over an unfamiliar success just because the success feels weird. Receiving something wonderful, something really big, actually feels profoundly uncomfortable if your internal identity hasn't expanded to hold it. So to relieve that discomfort, what do? We deflect. We turn the opportunity down. We shrink. We literally choose to pay the shrinkage tax just to feel safe again.
Section 4. Stopping the deflection.
Now, if receiving feels uncomfortable for you, you gotta start small. First, say thank you without deflecting. When someone praises your work, just say, thank you. Please don't follow it up with, oh, it was nothing. Second, accept support without apologizing. Stop saying, I'm so sorry to bother you, when you just need a perfectly normal level of help from your team. And third, let compliments land without contradiction. You have to start letting good things in without constantly arguing with them. These are the progressive, super practical microactions required to halt that shrinking behavior dead in its tracks.
Section 5. Expanding your identity.
Because the ultimate truth here is this. Worthiness grows when you stop arguing with what is meant for you. Each and every time an opportunity is accepted without minimizing it, your internal identity strengthens. It's exactly like a muscle. It does not grow from external achievements, it grows from the act of simply allowing yourself to believe you belong there. Every single time you let something good land, you are actively building the architecture of worthiness.
And when you adopt this new identity architecture, a really beautiful domino effect happens. You stop questioning yourself, you stop shrinking, you expand your identity, and ultimately, you shift your whole life. This is exactly how you stop paying the shrinkage tax for good. When you finally feel worthy of opportunities, the entire trajectory of your business and honestly, your personal life shifts upward because you are finally, truly out of your own way.
Now, building this internal architecture definitely takes intention. If you want a highly structured way to do this, I highly recommend exploring the 365 Freedom link we've provided in the description. Speaking as a strategic advisor, I can tell you this is the absolute logical next step for securing your inner right to receive and truly expanding that entrepreneurial identity we've been talking about today. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final provocative question. What will you allow yourself to receive today without minimizing it? Think about it. Your effort and growth have prepared you for what is arriving right now. Don't argue with it. Let something good land today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I challenge you to step into that new identity the very second you walk away from this screen.